what's going on? It's your girl T.I.E here, which stands for Together Individual Entertainment, T.I.E. Alright, so today is the 10th day of Halloween, which means it's time for our triple story. And we're going to start with our triple story before we get into those two Halloween stories, which happens to be 12 days of Halloween and the 10 things I love about Halloween. So, we're going to get into the Berenstain Bears Big Halloween Party first. So let's get into it. Alright, what do you think they're going to do at the Halloween party? Well, we're about to find out. Okay. It's an autumn in bear country, and Halloween was on its way. This year, the whole neighborhood was getting together for a big Halloween party at the Bears family treehouse. There would be costume parade and games, refreshments, a costume contest, and trick-or-treating for all. Brother and sister and Honey could hardly wait. The Cubs were thinking about their costumes. I'm going to be a fire-breathing dragon, said Brother. I'm going to be a swan mutant hero, said Sister. I'm going to be a big bug, said Honey proudly. A bug? Asked Sister proudly. Yes, said Honey, a ladybug. Oh, said Brother, one will be cute. Mama and Papa overheard the Cubs. Excuse me, said Mama, where are these costumes coming from? The Halloween store, said Brother. I'm sure the Halloween store has those costumes, said Papa. Perhaps you and Mama could help us make them, said Sister. Mama and Papa looked at each other and sighed. On Halloween Day, the Cubs' costumes were ready. They were magnificent. The whole family had indeed worked on them together. The neighborhood were decorating the treehouse and setting out games and refreshments. The neighborhood Cubs were widely excited. Said Papa. Now we're going to fill them up with sugar and candy. The party began with a grand costume parade. The Cubs were given all sorts of noisemakers, toy horns and cowbells, pop lids to bang on, or drums to whack. They set on tour of the neighborhood. Toot, bong, clank, whomp, went the noisemakers. The Cubs looked very nice in their costumes, and they had a wonderful time making all that noise. When the parade got back into the treehouse, everyone was hungry and thirsty. The parents doled out refreshments, and when everyone was refreshed, the games began. There was bobbing for apples. Little Billy Griswold lost a tooth to an apple. That's all right, he grinned. It was loose anyway. Papa supervised the beanbag toss. Hey, he said as a Cub accidentally bounced a beanbag off his head. Sorry, said the Cub. Mama was in charge of face painting. She did a wonderful job. By the time she was done, the Cub's own parents didn't recognize him. Mr. and Mrs. Brune ran the pin the bone on the skeleton game, and the musical tombstone at the end. Lizzie and Brune and cousin and friend both set down the last tombstone at exactly the same time, so it was declared a tie. The other Cubs happily ran circles around Lizzie and Fred. Next came the pumpkin pinata. Papa held out a long pole for the Cubs to whack with a baseball bat while blindfolded. The first Cub got a bit confused and whacked Papa. Ow! Yelled Papa. Eventually someone took good aim and burst the pumpkin wide open. The Cubs gathered up the scattered candy while poor Papa rubbed his leg. The party finished with a costume judging contest. The Cubs got up one at a time to display their costume while everyone applauded. Then prizes were awarded. There were lots of prizes. And for the witch with the straightest hat, said Mama, giving out a prize. And for the dinosaur with the sharpest horn, said Papa, giving out another prize. Soon all the cubs had prizes and trick-or-treating could begin. It was getting dark, and the neighborhood was looking quite spooky. There were flickering lanterns along the street, pumpkins glowed on every porch. There were fake skeletons, ghosts, ghouls, spiders, and monsters everywhere. The cubs set off. Parents went along with their little ones. They marched up to front door and knocked. Some doors were old and creaky, and some houses had sound effects of shrieks and moans. It was pretty scary. But when the doors were open, friendly neighbors were inside. Trick or treat, the cubs cried, and held out bags and baskets for their treats. When the candy bar had been gathered and the final lollipops selected, the cubs returned to the tree house to count their loot. They arranged it in neat little piles. 15 bear nut bars, said Brother. 17 grizzly pops, said Sister. Lots of honey drops, said Honey, who couldn't count very well. It was getting late. The moon was rising and the families headed home. The littlest one were fast asleep in their parents' arms. Good night, called Mama, Papa, Brother, Sister, and Honey. Happy Halloween, and Happy Halloween, the neighbors called back. A wonderful Halloween party had been had by all. Alright, so that was the Berenstein Bears big Halloween party. And now it's time to get into our two stories that I normally begin with, but I decided to wait till last because of the fact it's a triple story. Alright, 12 days of Halloween. Let's see what number 12 is. I meant 10. Sorry, 10. On the 10th day of Halloween was shown up at my door. 10 werewolves howling, 9 witches cackling, 8 black cats hissing, 7 spiders crawling, 6 ghosts spooking, 5 bags of candy, 4 scary costumes, 3 jack-o'-lanterns, 2 so scary, and 1 very eager trick-or-treater. See all those? And look at the van! Look at the van! It almost reminds me of the Scooby-Doo van in the Scooby-Doo series and everything. It almost looks like exactly like it! My gosh! Alright, and the final story is the 10 things I love about Halloween. We are finally in the last day of which they think is a good fit. Let's see what number 10 is. The number 10 thing I love about Halloween is trick-or-treating. We put on our costumes and paint out faces and we'll go out together. Trick-or-treat! I think the grown-ups love it just as much as we do. We go from door to door, louding and saying trick or treat as we watch our bags fill with candy. Trick or treat yourself to some candy. Thanks so much. And when I feel sad, that's all it's over, I remember we get to do it all again next year. Happy Halloween! Alright, so that was our last part of the 10 things I love about Halloween. And tomorrow, I'll do another double story, except this story is going to have a little bit of chapters in them. But still, we're going to go day to day, chapter by chapter, or whatever it is, for our 11th day of Halloween. Okay, so, this is Ty saying, Happy Halloween and bye!